Hey there, everyone. I hope you are all doing good. Stazma here. Today, I'm here to talk to you about the Midi Fighter. One of my Patreon subscribers from the teaching session tier asked me to do this video to show him a few techniques on how to use the Midi Fighter. He has the Spectra and I have the 3D. The only difference being that this one does have an accelerometer built inside. So I will forget about this on my unit and just show you a few techniques that I could use myself in order to mess around with sound in real time using this. So the first thing I want to show here is how I use it in my own live set. I've shown this already in the live setup video I did, but whatever, I guess it's a good introduction. So let me fire one clip. We are going to have fun with the track Waking Up My Girlfriend. That seems to be one of the favorites of everyone. So here we go. There's a few pages on this thing. The first pages here does use two things. First, a plugin called the Fighter. The Finger, sorry. It's a reactor plugin that lets you, when you route MIDI into it, you can route MIDI notes into it, which is what I'm sending with this. On each note you can program an effect. So here I have a few loops. These two are very super short audio buffer thing. This one is a bit shorter. Okay, here we have a comp filter thing with a bit of modulation. That stops at some point. Here, bit crusher thing. Another comp filter, flanger kind of thing. An automated low pass filter. An automated beat crusher. And an automated comp filter again. Whoa. So, I use this live to mess around with this. And one cool thing is that you can play more than one effect at a time. Basically, it's the last one you hit that is going to be on top. Then I have another thing that are those four things. What I use for this is a technique called dummy clips. So I have all my audio here, the all four tracks is going to this group, and this audio, the group here, is going to this sum bus where there is actually the finger that you've seen before and a few other effects. And some of these effects are these super old without even an interface D-Blue tape stop and D-Blue stretch. There's also an utility that I use for automation. So basically this is the utility. You will see if I press this, it will start the audio and it will be cut up. And you can see the gain here going all crazy. This red button is to stop the dummy clips. So I'm going back to the normal audio. This is the tape stop. You will see the trigger here. So as you can hear, it's just triggering the thing, and then it goes back to the normal. And yeah, I have a time stretch. This one stays on for quite some time and then starts again. Yeah, you hear? And I can stop them here. This is here that you see those grayed out clips. So when you have audio, all the audio going to one bus like this, which is not a group, it's really just I've made myself a bus here. Here you can see this group is sent to sum. It's the audio out to sum. And here on top of sum, so here I've made some clips. So you can just drag around any clips that you like, an audio clip, and put the volume, the gain, at 0. And then what it lets you do is that you can write envelopes in it. You can write automation. So the first one that I've shown you is actually this. Just a simple volume envelope that's repeated super fast. So let me play that again. And this red button is actually just triggering this last clip that doesn't have any effects on. So I started using this technique mostly because of the time stretch. Because this time stretch, if you just trigger it whenever by doing something like, let's disable this clip. So now, doing nothing. Let me show you. By the way, I also mapped those things. They are just mapped to these 4 knobs using MIDI. Click on it, choose the knob or button. So I'm going to do that as well with the trigger to show you the problem. So if I do this, now let's play. So first, this is on-off toggle. Sometimes it's cool, but it's also quite hard to grab the... got good at it now, but it's hard to grab nice transients, and sometimes you grab in between stuff that you don't want to grab. Which is why I made this clip. This is quantized, so it will always start right when you want, and it will let pass a tiny little transient, so you will have the tsh of the snare or the pum of the kick that will pass through, and then it will start to get time stretched. It allows you to play it much easier. Okay, the other thing that I have are those 2 pages where what I'm doing is that it's triggering breakbeats. So you will say, we'll play here, nothing will happen. You can see on the screen all the stuff getting weird, but you can hear nothing. Because these are on another track, and this track has the crossfader set to B. And the main breakbeat track, this one, has the crossfader set to A. I usually have this on my Leave It block, but I don't use it in the studio. I just got this nice controller from Atari project that I will start to use in the studio. And this is actually the first time I plug it in. So here I've made the crossfader. So now I can go from the normal breakbeat track to what I'm playing here. Okay, good stuff. This is fun. So this is basically not glitching the actual audio. It's playing glitched out stuff on top of something else. Okay, so this is how I use it and how you could use it as well. What you need is just to choose your different breaks or different glitch effects and sound and samples, put them somewhere here, map each one to a key of your Midi Fighter, and set up the crossfader in a way that you can go from one to the other. So now that I've shown you how I use it, I will make a new Ableton project and we are going to have a look at it and try to recreate some of these glitchy effects using stuff that are from live and how we could try to find a scheme of how to trigger all this with the Midi Fighter and the help of another controller like this. Okay, so I've made a new weirdo thing and I will try to explain it to you. So I've made a simple pattern with one breakbeat taken from one of the existing tracks that I made with just a backing 808. So this is together the drums. Just a big bass line thing with some samples that I made for Patreon. And every once in a while, like after one loop, there's one empty loop and then an ARP-ish loop playing, just to break the fact that it's a bit long. So I've made the same kind of thing. I've grouped everything, sent the audio here, audio to dummy effects, in. You have to be in order to listen to it. So the first thing that I did was to create a no FX clip. Basically, you just copy whatever clip, put it there, make sure you put the volume at 0. This is going to be your basic clip. So this one, I mapped it to this button. So this is my off FX button. And then I've made a few effects. A bit at random, just trying out stuff. We're going to try to look at what... So the first one is a tape stop. So basically, what it is, it's putting the dry wet up. If we have a look at it. But not straight away, because if it was straight away, we add a weird click. See? It does a weird thing that I did not like. So I made it like this, with just a tiny slope. So it killed that weird click. And during that slope, we have the coarse pitch going down. We could make that even more snappier by making the curve more exponential. Same thing with, I guess, the dry wet. Make it more. Okay, this is it. Then we have a pitch LFO. Also using the shifter. A repeat here. Another repeat. Delay. You can see here dry wet. And I've mapped the delay time to this fader here. Here I have nothing, I forgot to put something here. And simple automation of volume. And a faster one. This is already quite enough to have quite a bit of fun. This is a bit of a work in progress, and there is, to clarify things, one thing that I like about this technique is that it allows you to really fine-tune every effects. For example, here I left one mistake, one thing that I don't like in the delay. So here we are. You notice that there is a slight volume drop when I put the delay on. You could try to compensate by adding more input gain into it. could also, if you don't have an input gain on the effect that you want, you can automate whatever you want, which is just the dry wet here, going at 50% when I play this clip. But you could automate the volume, so you could almost even just make an accent kind of track. Let me remove this. Also, let me show you how to make a new one. The no effects must be your basic stuff, so you can always just copy paste it and then decide. Let's call this one accent. And this one is just going to be pushes off a few dB up that goes a few dB down. Let's make it a tiny bit more exponential. Loop it like this. And then give it a MIDI note, which is the one that I haven't used yet. Hey. So there's no really anything that should stop you from putting whatever effect and whatever effect combination you want. So let's add, for example, a beat crusher. Let's put it after the echo. And let's make it nothing. So it's just not there. Basically, all these effects in live, when they are 100% wet, they will imply slight variation. See the quality, the overall quality, maybe it won't translate to YouTube, but whatever. This does change especially the bass response. So I prefer to have them on, but not wet. Let's do again our NoFX, let's rename it Redux. So here I have Redux Dry Wet, let's put it at max. Let's give this guy a note, which is this one. So now this is on. So we could decide to have this on whenever we want and to control it with something. Same, I feel that this guy might need a little bit of additional gain. So let's make it a bit louder. One thing that I also should mention here, when you want to really make something very useful live, or when you improvise. If I put this here and I play around, see that the action that I have here is not quite drastic. And here, same thing, is a bit. So let's see, it's from 200, 135 is the minimum here. And yeah, 12K is enough. So when you do your MIDI thing, here you can choose 135, let's say 12K. So now you have a much more precise and useful range for this thing. Here I'm putting everything on the master bus in order to really mess around with stuff. But we could do another run of pads that would be only for the breaks or only for the drums or whatever. But I guess it's easier to just show it like this. What else could we do? We could do some crazy panning stuff. You don't even need to put the auto pan on here. You could just go to the utility. Because this is also a way that you might avoid using too many plugins, because on each of these you can basically draw whatever you want. So let's go for let's decide we want a sine wave like this and copy it wherever. Oh yeah. Let's give this guy a pad. Done. Yeah, well, one thing, I do find this delay too polite. The feedback makes it a bit too blurry and yeah. Let's try to have it a bit more focused. Go back to the 0 input gain, basically making it a bit cleaner, but let's add a saturator after it. Let's find what's good. Let's say 4 dB seems good. So here, as this is the last thing that we've touched, we have it right under our hands. Good. And also, this is one of my favorite tricks. You could decide to also control the feedback at the same time as you control the delay time. So let's make the delay time a bit longer. Let's go here. This can go to 102, but it starts at 85 because we want some feedback even when we start. Let's go. So it does that sort of almost time stretchy effect. Also, in the character here, I decided to make it not pitched, but you could decide to have it pitched. And here you have the... how smooth it is. 10 milliseconds is good. It's got plenty of dirt and artifacts. Hey. The fact you have to go back to that off thing might be off-putting a little bit, but I'm quite used to it now, and I haven't found any way to do this without this so far, but there's probably a way, and if you know one, well, just let me know. There's many other effects that we could try to do. We could, yeah, if you want, for example, I have this one here, and I want it to be faster on another one. You just duplicate it, you copy past it, and here you come change beat repeat grid. Let's duplicate it. Up. Well, that will be it for today. I think that's already quite a few things to mess around with. And we'll see if my Patreon subscriber wants me to do more about this. So you should give a big thanks for willing to share this thing with everyone. if you want to order this kind of video, you can also subscribe to the top tier, the stitching session tier on my Patreon that you can see going on screen right now. And yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.